that.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't like people playing with my time. I don't play with nobody else's time.
All right. Welcome back to PoPolitickin.com, your home for self-help meets hip-hop. Right now, we're live on YouTube, but check me out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. 1, 2, 1, 2, place to be with Triune. I might say it wrong, huh? Did I say it wrong already?
Yeah, it's Triune.
Triune. Oh, I did say it right. Triune from the Combine. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing wonderful, man. How you?
I'm good. So let's go. What does it mean behind your name first?
It's a spiritual name. It just means three in one, mind, body, and soul, all in one. My grandmother used to call me Triune when I was a baby, and she kind of reminded me of that as I got a little bit older. And then when I started doing music, I kind of just ran with that.
So I get the tribe. So what does it mean behind the U and E?
So it's tri, like it's all mind, body, and soul in one. So the tri is the mind, body, and soul. The un is the in one part.
Yeah. That's hard. That's what's up.
Thanks. Yeah,
Right.
appreciate it.
So where's
Shout
your
out to grandmoms.
where's your hometown?
My hometown is the Inland Empire. It's a suburb outside of LA, about 45 minutes an hour east of LA. That's where I grew up. So that's what I rep. But I'm in LA now. I live out here. It's just more copacetic, business wise, entertainment wise, everything. So I'm close to Ticket City now, but home is the IE.
Damn, y'all got I know the group name is the Combine, so it sounds like y'all sports fans somewhat.
We are. That's kind of the reason why we started a group. We started a group with the purposes of doing licensing for sports media. And so we've done quite a bit of licensing for ESPN and Fox Sports and CBS Sports and a slew of other companies. And that was kind of the idea: make some sports inspired music and then license it and then use that money to fund our albums.
Good. So who's some of your sports teams? Give me your football, basketball, baseball.
I give you my top four. I'm a Yankees fan. Kind of got that from a family member and loved the pinstripes when I was a kid. So I always been a Yankees fan. And all my other teams are California: Kings, 49ers, and Lakers.
You into like MMA or boxing?
Of course. I can't wait for this Canelo Caleb Plant fight. I think that's gonna be a really good fight. Caleb Plant is a really young bull out there, and he's got some hands, some footwork, and he lets it go. So I'm looking forward to seeing that fight.
Yeah, I said I had to. They was asking me. We did another interview, and we was talking about who our favorite boxers were. And I was thinking about it. I was like, man, I had to say Canelo because just after these past couple fights, he been stepping it up and fighting people. He's been very active. So I like him.
Canelo, nice. He one of the greats in this shit, man. I rock with Canelo. He's not one of my favorites, but I rock with him. I think he's this generation's probably best fighter.
Yeah, I just like, man, because I be seeing how hard he be punching so hard though, bro. Like he be punching.
Yeah,
that's why he hit you hard eventually.
Yeah, the guy can box. You know what I'm saying? Like he's got his footwork. He worked on his head movement after the Mayweather fight.
Yeah.
And he really pop shots dudes, and he's great, man. He's a phenomenal fighter.
So who your favorite boxer is?
Either Floyd or Tyson. Those are the two most influential in my lifetime.
What's it right now?
Right now, it probably has to be. Damn, I want to say him, but he was just about to have the Manny fight and scratch his retina. So I'll probably have to go with Terrence Crawford.
That's what getting me mad too. I'm like, okay, why they don't got Spence and Crawford fight? Why we gotta wait on that fight? They should have been fought.
Promoter beef, man. You know how that whole top rank and then the rest, everybody else, Bob Arum don't get along with everybody. And if he don't rock with you, he's not gonna do business with any of your fighters. So
So what do you think about the Lakers?
I think it's either gonna be a huge disaster or a huge triumph.
Why do you think it'll be a huge? Why could it give me the reason? But why both? Why it could be a disaster?
It'll be a disaster because Westbrook may not fit, and he's not much of a shooter. And so when you have a guy like LeBron that could clog up the paint, AD can clog up the paint. We just signed DeAndre Jordan; he could clog up the paint. We re-signed Dwight Howard. He could clog up the paint. So we're going to need some shooters. And no, I think we have one or two. Westbrook is going to have to be a part of that equation. But it could go great too because Westbrook could have great chemistry with AD on the pick and roll, and that could kind of open things up for the other side of the floor. So we'll see how they balance it out and what Coach Vogel does with everything. But it's going to be interesting to see how we mesh together as a group.
You think Melo gonna be a shooter for him?
I think Melo will be a shooter for him too, but you know that Melo also thrives in the post, and I think Vogel would be stupid to not put him in the post against smaller defenders.
Uh, so let us know about your upbringing, and how you got involved with music.
Yeah, man, I kind of got involved early, man. Playing instruments early. I had family members that were like in bands and stuff like that, playing instruments. So I played instruments early, bunch of wind instruments, starting with the trumpet and the sax and the trombone and tuba. I played about 13 different instruments. And then the writing kind of came in early too. At like 5 years old, I jumped in this poetry contest through school and ended up winning it and having my first piece of writing published at like 5, 6 years old. So when I got a little bit older, probably around 13, I started dabbling in rap because that was all I was kind of listening to at the time. And shared it with a few people. A few people was like, yeah. A few people was like, nah. And I just continue to keep pushing the pen and keep improving. During high school, I had a pretty iconic group in the IE called the Ions that I was a part of. It was like a big Wu-Tang-ish kind of group, bunch of us. And
What happened with him?
I mean, it was just a high school thing. I'm not sure if everybody really decided to take music seriously like I did. So it was just a fun high school thing, but those guys were extremely talented. And I got a chance to really learn how to write songs and learn how to write verses and learn how to put syllables together and stuff like that through those guys. And then when I got out of high school, I decided to take it seriously. Yeah.
So who's some of your influences?
Lots of guys, man, dating back to LL and KRS and Chuck D and Rakim. Some of your mid, I guess, era guys, your Method Mans, your Black Thoughts, your Talibs, Moses, Pharaoh Monsters, those guys, all the way to, new guys. Like, I don't want to really call them new. They've been around for 10 years, but, I guess your second mid era guys, your Coles, your Kendricks, your Wale.
The 2010s.
Yeah, the 2010s. And even some of the new guys, you know what I'm saying? Like YBN Corday, I rock with him a lot. I rock with a lot of the Griselda guys, Conway, West, and Benny. Those guys are I'm fans of. I'm fans of Rick Hyde too. Yeah, all them guys.
I'm saying, did you listen to the Danya and the Kanye West yet?
Yeah, I listen to both of you. Talking about the Donda and
I mean, not the Danya and the Certified Lover Boy, Drake.
Yeah, I listened to him. I heard him.
So what you think about him?
I wasn't a huge fan of Donda. Ever since 808s and Heartbreaks, Kanye has definitely taken a different approach to music. And I'm just not a fan of it. I'm not saying it's not good music. Whoever wants to listen to it, listen to it. But it's just not my cup of tea. I did love My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I know that came out after 808s. But aside from that, that's more my type of music. Certified Lover Boy was cool, but Drake albums for me are always, they're always kind of, I guess you could say, split, just because some of the R&B stuff that he does, I'm not really a fan of, but I'm definitely a fan of him when he, when he raps. I'm a fan of that. So usually Drake albums are split for me, because the R&B stuff I usually don't rock with.
Yeah, how would you describe your sound, people?
My sound?
Your sound.
The Combine sound is really it's really 2000 and now. You know what I'm saying? It's 1990 now. We definitely try and stay as relevant as possible. Our music moves. It's more of a club bar based kind of music. But we do have some introspective records and some records on some other type of time too. On this new album, we have a new album coming out pretty soon called Ambition. And we've got, a record on there that's actually out right now called Park the Whip. You can go search it on YouTube and check out the video, and it's on all streaming platforms. That's more of a, club record kind of, shoot for the stars kind of record. But then we have other records on the album, like one called Cold Day in Hell is featuring Head Ice from Harlem, New York. We shot that video in Harlem, New York. And it's more on some grimy New York kind of shit. So we got records all over the place. We also have a record that's probably going to end up being a single on the album called All Good. And it's more on some West West type of vibe. The first verse is all about like a tribute kind of to Nip. Um, and yeah, man. So we move all around as far as the sounds and the textures that we choose.
Then how did you hook up with EQ and form the Combine?
So through a mutual friend, a guy by the name of Obi-Wan. He's kind of like my engineer, my right hand man when it comes to my solo creation. He met EQ and EQ's mother. You guys may know her. Her name's Denise Williams. She's like a
Yeah.
4-time Grammy Award winner. Yeah, that's his mom's. So he had met them through some other music business shit. And then he ended up telling him, like, hey, I think you would be a great match to do music with my boy Try. And then he was telling me the same thing. So we started off with a record on my album called Pray For Him. I put out an album in 2014 called Raised to Fail, Born to Succeed. And there's a record on there called Pray For Him. We did the record. We shot a video for it. The video went kind of crazy on YouTube or whatnot. And then at that point, we still weren't committed to it. We did another record on my album called No Trust, where he kind of assisted me on the hook. And then he hit me for an opportunity. NFL football was doing a documentary about Long Beach Poly, which is a pretty iconic high school
Yeah.
football program. And so we did a record called Forever for them. And the record did really well, streamed a bunch of times. It was all over the documentary and all the segments of it. And then at that point, we decided to take that record and just make an album out of it. So that's what we did.
Yeah, then you say y'all try to focus on like getting picked up through the sports and syncs. So
Yeah.
what made y'all think of that?
Just trying to approach things from a different angle. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody got an album out or a mixtape. Like my mom's got an album out. Like everybody has something out. And so we just wanted to kind of approach things a little bit differently than your average person would. And being that both of us had some influence in that space and we had some connections, we figured we could make a splash. And so we have, man. Just to name a few things that we've done. There was a Mayweather Mcgregor documentary that CBS Sports put out. We did some voiceovers and the intro music for that. We did bunch of stuff for ESPN for a couple 30/30 docs for some other sort of placements that they've had and ads and stuff like that. Same with Fox Sports. We did the show that they have before football starts on Sunday mornings, and where they usually do like a little documentary within those. So we did one for Deshaun Watson and another one for other football player that was on Fox Sports in the morning.
What do you mean when you say you did one? Are you saying like y'all like
we made the music for the documentary.
So like even like you rapping on it too?
Yeah, portions of it, depending on how they cut it. Like for the Deshaun Watson one, there's definitely lyrics in it.
So do you have to like you can't use that song for nothing else since it's just for them?
Actually, no. So at the very top of 2020, we licensed 3 songs to Fox Sports for those documentaries. And those 3 songs are on our album. The way that we usually structure things is it's on a licensing basis. It's non-exclusive, so we can continue to use it wherever we want. And the network can continue to use it however they see fit within a certain period of time.
Hey, that's cool right there.
Yeah, so it's cool. We can kind of double dip with that. And so the 3 songs that were featured on Fox Sports were All Good, Got It All, and Park the Whip. And so Park the Whip is our leading single off the album that came out last year. And like I said, the video's out, songs on all the streaming platforms, and then Got It All and All Good will be on the album. We shot a video for All Good here in LA because it just kind of made sense. And then we shot a video for Got It All in Mexico. So that'll be coming too.
So when is the album? What's the plan? Like when y'all thinking the album gonna drop?
Album will drop within the next 2 to 3 months. We're figuring out the schematics right now with the label to put together a nice plan and roll it out in a way that's going to be a little bit different from how other people are doing things. So We're working on that now. It'll be out in the next couple months, I'd say, within 60 to 90 days.
So I'll say, what's the plans for the rest of the year?
Plans for the rest of the year is put the album out and then go out and support it.
Mm.
Go out and do a bunch of shows if the world is open. Go out and get on a bunch of more platforms like yours. Thank you for inviting us on. But get on a bunch more platforms. Just make ourselves seen. Be more live on our social medias and go live. I do a little DJ set thing on my social media, so I'll be doing that. And just really just getting active and making sure people are aware of what's going on.
And then if someone asks you who is Triune, who would you say?
I would say he's a man that was born and raised in the IE and just out here trying to make a way for myself in the music and business world.
Mm-hmm. And what are some of your interests outside of music?
I mean, I'm heavily into business, man. I own 3 businesses now and continuing to expand that. My main business is my marketing agency. It's called Uno Marketing. We do a bunch of digital marketing media buys for people. My other business is a barbershop that I put in my old neighborhood in Fontana. It's called Kicks and Cuts. Half of the shop is a barbershop. The other half is a resale shoe store. And that's in Fontana. Once again, it's Kicks and Cuts. You guys can go check that out if you're in SoCal, or you can check out our website. And then my other business is Culture Coffee Company. It's something me and EQ are actually doing together. We have a coffee shop in Las Vegas off of Sahara. It's about 2.5 miles off the strip, where you can go and you can get your lattes, you can go get your fraps and all that good stuff. It's 6985 Sahara Avenue. So
Right. So like you're not working at none of these places. You're just starting them up. Or you
yeah. I'm a silent investor on the side, man. I got a few businesses that I've invested in. Those are 2 that I'm willing to mention, and then more that are coming down the line. So I run my marketing agency. That's my baby. I actually run that hands-on, but all the other businesses that I'm involved in from a strategic and investment standpoint.
So what are you looking at when you invest in a company?
I look at the idea, I look at the entrepreneurs, and really want to get to know them and make sure that they're driven and ambitious about what it is that they're going into. I look at their business acumen and their kind of their I guess you could say their history of running businesses. And then I look at the numbers. You know what I'm saying? The numbers usually tell you exactly what you need to know about the business owner, and how the business is being ran.
So where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
5 years from now, I see myself probably doing a lot less music and a lot more business. I'm actually restructuring a lot of my companies right now to be under one banner so that I could take the investment thing a lot more serious. And I hope to have a portfolio of at least 12 to 15 businesses within the next 5 years.
Right there.
Yeah.
So describe your creative process when you're making, describe your creative process when you're making music.
You know what? It kind of just varies. I'm a very emo guy when it comes to actually creating. Unless it's some business shit that I absolutely have to get done. Like, I've been independent for so long that I kind of work on my own, my own kind of way. And so I'll just be here. I got a studio in my crib, and usually it involves some form of marijuana and maybe some wine. And and just flip through beats and find something that inspires me, and then figure out what I feel like the music is saying to me, and start crafting usually a hook or a verse. And and then that process kind of goes until I feel like I'm done actually crafting, and then get in there, record it, try and get the vocals right, record it over and over and over till I feel like it's actually feeling and sounding the way I want it to. And then I also engineer all of our stuff too. So then I'll get to the mix and master process and make sure that everything sounds correct.
That's what's up right there. How long you been engineering?
You know what? It's actually a new thing for me. A bad situation turned into a blessing. So we had an engineer that we were working with for the first album that engineered the entire first Combine album. Mm-hmm. And then we were getting into the second album, and he got really busy because this individual, he's like a really dope EDM DJ and producer. And he ghost produced for a lot of DJs out there that play his music under the guise that it's theirs. So he has a bunch of music out in the world, and he just got busy. And so he wasn't able to mix our shit. And so at that point, I was like, look, I'm kind of tired of doing the kit and caboodle with different engineers. Like over the years, I've worked with several, and you obviously never get the same sound out of every single engineer. And I thought that it was really important for us to have consistency in our music, not just the Combine music, but my solo music and EQ solo music as well. And so I started watching a million tutorials, buying a bunch of plugins and gear and stuff like that, and just kind of putting the shit together. And so this album is entirely mixed and mastered by myself. And I think I'm a little more excited about that part of it than the actual music contribution.
Mm-hmm. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, shit, what else I was gonna ask you? So what motivates you to make music?
Self-expression. I can't, we men, man, there's only certain outlets where we can really get out how we genuinely feel. You know what I mean? Like most times, we bottle that shit. We don't necessarily express it. So it gives me an outlet to be able to kind of say whatever the fuck I want to say without any sort of judgment or any sort of like, negative responses. I mean, of course that comes with it, but I don't read the comments and shit, so it's whatever. Um, and then also just being able to have something that's mine that, I don't have to share with nobody else. I don't have to consult nobody else. I don't have to do none of that type of shit. I can just do what I want to do 100%, and whatever the outcome is the outcome. Maybe, people hear it, maybe people don't, and it just stays on a hard drive. But it's an outlet for me to kind of just paint my picture.
And then what's the average day for you right now?
Shit, man. It's kind of all over the place. Some days, you have music requirements. We may have something that comes down the pipeline with like ESPN or something, and they're like, hey, we need this to be turned out. We need a draft of this by, I don't know, 48 hours. So then, you kind of wipe everything else off the desk and you figure that out. And then other days, it's my marketing agency. I mean, taking meetings with prospective clients, managing existing clients, doing media buys myself, that's often part of the day. And then I'm a family man. I got 2 kids. I'm engaged. My fiance has 2 kids. So, running kids to and from school and doing homework and spending time with them, it could be all over the place.
And what do you like about being a father?
I just love to see my kids grow, man. Like, just seeing them from birth to now they're 11 and 8, and just seeing them grow into their own person, their own individual. You know what I mean? Obviously, I shaped and mold that to a certain degree, but they're going to be who they're going to be. And, I guess it's just great seeing somebody that comes from you kind of growing into this, into this full-fledged person. It's a cool process to watch.
Mm. So, and then what would you like to say to your fans and supporters?
Thank you. I know it's been a hell of a journey. I've been doing this thing for a minute. So my fans have seen me go through plenty of different changes and changing the way that I release music. I feel like our generation of like making music, the guys have been making music in the last 20 years, right? We've gone through a lot of changes. Music went from being sold in the store to going to streams, to going to MP3s, to going to being bootlegged on different sites, to no longer selling CDs and selling thumb drives, and then going from thumb drives directly to streams, and now fighting, before we was fighting shelving fees and shit like that in the retailer. Now you got to fight positioning on these streaming sites. I feel like the last 20 years of making music has come with a lot of changes. So with that, your fans got to change too. You know what I mean? People had to go from MySpace to Facebook to Instagram to Snapchat to TikTok to all these changes, and they got to find you on all of these different, platforms, and they have to mature with you and grow with you as an artist. And so I just thank them for doing that, because I know that I have some long-term fans that, like, they've been around since the MySpace, me shipping CDs to them, to now being able to kind of just download it in their phone and enjoy it.
Yeah. So what year did you start?
I started taking music serious like 01, 2000, 01. That's when I started recording my first album.
What made you start?
Um, I always wanted an album. I always wanted like a CD at the time that I could like, you know, have my own artwork on and, you know, and kind of hear myself and be able to pass it to friends. So that was the initial kind of motivation.
All right, man. I want to say thanks for coming through politicking with me.
Yo, I appreciate it, man. Hopefully we can get up again. And if you and Diego and I'm here in Long Beach, definitely holler at me when you swing through this way.
For sure, man. Yeah, we can always yeah, next time we gotta have EQ on.
Yeah, definitely. We should definitely spin back for that. Like maybe when the you know, when the album's about to drop, or maybe when the first single's about to drop. Um, we should definitely spin back. I know he's in the air right now coming back from Florida, but he definitely wanted to be here and he wanted to say his piece. So we should definitely spin back when that happens.
All right, for sure. I'm with that. You wanna drop
Yeah.
your social media again?
Yeah, the combine versus everybody on everything. Facebook, Instagram, you name it. So go check us out, and you can find my individual from there, and you can find EQ's individual from there. But for now, the combine versus everybody, and then also our website is We Are the Combine.